I'm Kelly Worthman in the CBSN Denver studio. Singer and actor Jamie Foxx recently shared some heartbreaking news. His younger sister passed away at just 36 years old. DeOndra Dixon was born with Down syndrome and was an ambassador to the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, which is based right here in Denver. Joining me now is Sie Whitten, President and CEO of the Global Down Syndrome Foundation and a dear friend of DeOndra Dixon. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us. I know you have a lifetime of wonderful memories with Deandra. So can you tell us a little bit more about who she was and her incredible legacy for the foundation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kelly, for having us. So Deandra was our inaugural, the first recipient of the Quincy Jones Exceptional Advocacy Award. Quincy introduced us to us first as this amazing, magnetic person with Down syndrome. And then later he said, and she's the younger sister of Jamie Foxx. So that's kind of how we met her. And she's been with us for 10 fashion shows, the Quincy Jones Exceptional Award winner, plus the ambassador, traveling with us across the country, even to Paris, really doing keynotes and opening up conferences where you would never see a person with Down syndrome, right? Scientific conferences, medical conferences, where we really wanted to focus on the person with Down syndrome, to the scientists, to the medical professionals, so they understood who we are serving, you know, versus, oh, it's just this interesting science or medicine. You know, we always kind of kept it real. And her legacy, she touched, of course, people with Down syndrome. She touched typical people. She touched the scientists and the medical community in a way that inspired them and opened their eyes to possibility. I think because she was so loved and included in her own family and treated like any member of the family, they empowered her to be confident and to achieve, and that's shown in everything she did with the Global Down Syndrome Foundation. So it's because of her, and of course many other self-advocates, but her, one of the more front and forward people. Also, she's African American, she's a woman, she's an adult. There's so many things about her that are compelling in our community that need to be put forth in terms of diversity within the diversity of ability. And so it's just, we're having a hard time kind of processing it, getting our head around it, and now we've kind of, we're focused on how do we make the fashion show that she was so excited about. You know, she was practicing her secret moves. She never showed anybody her moves before that big curtain call. And how do we pay tribute to her legacy, and really her family? You know, when you think about Mr. Dixon, Miss Annette, and Jamie and Deirdre, and then Corinne and Elise, her nieces, who they are a tight-knit family. She lived with her brother. They lived together, and I can't imagine what they're going through, you know, what we're going through.
Right.
It's terrible, but, you know, when you lose a family member, it's horrible.
And you know, it's hard to cope, especially right now in this pandemic where we can't always be together in the ways that we want to. But you know, reflecting on Deandra a little bit more, you guys have shared some beautiful pictures of her, and my goodness, her smile, it truly just lights up every single room that she entered. That's especially true. Kind of what you just mentioned with her involvement with the Be Beautiful, Be Yourself fashion show. Oh my goodness, we're looking at a picture right now of you and Deandra and Jamie Foxx. I mean, it's just beautiful. That event though happens every year here in Colorado. So can you tell us more about that fashion show?
Yes, this year it's going to be virtual. So that's a bit challenging. In an interesting turn of events, because it's virtual, we have more celebrities than I think we've ever had. We have our 2 Q Award winners. We have Caterina Scorsoni from Grey's Anatomy, and then Marian Avila from Spain, who's a model, walked in New York Fashion Week, who happens to have Down syndrome. We have our ambassador, Walt Snodgrass, in our chairs, Lou and Jill Rotella. And then, of course, you know, we've got Quincy, we've got Johnson McGinley, we've got Amanda Booth, we've got Eric Dane, also from Grey's Anatomy, who's been joining us with Kira Phillips and John Roberts. We've got just Matt Dillon and Kevin Dillon. We've never had both the brothers. You know, Matt's been with us before. They both have a nephew with Down syndrome. So we have kind of this tribe of people, most of whom have a connection. Jeff Probst is coming this year to a person with Down syndrome, and it's like this almost like a family reunion every year that we go to with this fashion show. And people kind of auction themselves off. It's kind of an interesting event in person, and Katerina is going to give us this live auction with her and two fabulous co-stars of the Grey's Anatomy Sea Film Center. And then the three of them are going to zoom in for half an hour and hang out and do a Q&A with the winners of that auction item. So it's going to be fast moving. The fashion show is going to steal the show. We have the We Are the World at the end, the finale with Quincy Jones. This year we're going to have the loving tribute to Deandra. And you saw, I mean, it's just going to be hard to keep it together. But, you know, looking at the photos and the videos, there have been thousands and thousands of people with Down syndrome getting online on social media and just mourning her, even people who haven't met her, and certainly the people who have met her and their family members and people who did meet her at the fashion show and didn't know her, but, you know, I had a chance to talk to her once. So I think it's, you know, coming together. We have new $25 tickets. You know, usually it would be $650 for a ticket to the event. The model families, of course, get comp tickets. But yeah, it's going to be great. And we have models from South Africa. We have models from Massachusetts, Maryland, everywhere. So it's a really big deal. And I think given COVID, people with Down syndrome are high risk for COVID, and we really have been protecting. It's been a big part of our work. We have 5 major COVID-19 initiatives that we've been working on to protect people with Down syndrome. So there's been loss of life because of COVID. Now, unexpectedly, Deandra was taken from us too soon. So, you know, on the one hand, you feel like, oh, this is more than we can bear. On the other hand, with all the negativity and the tension in the world today for many different reasons, having an opportunity to celebrate and see beautiful, brilliant people with Down syndrome, playing the fiddle, walking down the runway, giving acceptance speeches to honors,
Right.
I think it will be a nice break.
Absolutely, and it's something for people to look forward to, right? I mean, I think a lot of us want to be a little bit more forward thinking and have joy in our lives, and this just is one of those events that brings so much joy to so many people literally around the world. And just last question for you, Michelle. I mean, for those who just might not be familiar with your work, can you share a little bit more about what Global Down Syndrome Foundation is and perhaps how people can get involved?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So you know, there are a lot of great Down syndrome organizations. We're different in that our focus is research and medical care, and our goals are to elongate life. Unfortunately, the lifespan is 60, and then it's even lower for African Americans and for Hispanic populations, but we look at that average. And, you know, the average typical person is 79 plus in the United States. So how do we bridge that gap, get them to live longer? And then they have a lot of co-occurring diseases, especially later in life, including Alzheimer's is a high risk. So how do we get them healthy in the last couple of decades of life is our main focus. And we really, we have the Cernic Institute doing the research, the C Center at Children's Hospital doing pediatric care. We're now working with Denver Health to do adult care. And we just published the first ever medical care guidelines for adults with Down syndrome that was published in JAMA. So we're really hitting on it on every level, and we're already seeing improved health outcomes. And I think it's just a matter of really just a few years that we're going to see elongated life as well.
Well, Michelle,
and getting involved. Oh, sorry.
No, that's good to say. Go ahead.
So, and then getting involved, it's really, you know, of course we need money. I mean, we have been one of the least funded genetic conditions by our federal government for 2 decades. We need that money to do research, and the overwhelming majority goes to research and medical care. We need volunteers. We need people to sign petitions and advocate. We need everything. So, you know, it's an open door. We're inclusive. We want everybody to come love on our work and on our individuals with Down syndrome that we serve.
Absolutely. Well, Michelle, you guys do some incredible work, and Deandra certainly did, even in her short time with us. I just want to express my condolences to you and to all who knew Deandra. I am sending you a virtual hug. We are grateful for you joining us today. And for more information on the Global Down Syndrome Foundation, including how you can help support their mission, just head to cbsdenver.com.